Good morning, thank you, everyone. Hope you're having a good day. Thinking about our Christian walk with Jesus. It's either the easiest hard thing that you ever have to do, or it's the hardest easy thing you ever have to do. Trying to decide which way to think of it. What I know is this, that you can't claim to be a Christian, a Jesus follower, and not have any change in your life. Not going to be perfect. There's going to be something. And it's almost always going to intersect in relationships more than anything else. That is going to truly be the test of our being a Jesus follower. Being a Jesus follower is not a private thing. Yes, it takes place in private at times in our life. Our prayer life is often private, or our devotional life might be private, or giving might be done in private, but the bulk of our Christian experience is meant to take place in the context of community. Of course, that means family. Of course, it means our communities that we live in. It might mean our work community. It might mean when we're out shopping, driving, whatever. But where it's especially meant to be tested is actually in the family of God. Isn't that an odd thing? But the family of God ought to be the easiest place to experience Jesus. And in many places it is, but it also can be one of the hardest places because our faith has to intersect with how we live our lives. We can't just like divorce the application of Christianity from our lives and think we can just hold on to the beliefs and not the practice. The two have to come together. That's at the heart of Colossians, all of Colossians, but Colossians 3 that we have been looking at. We are presently looking at Colossians 3, verses 12 to 14. And on Monday, we looked at verse 12. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, we have this incredibly privileged place that we live in as a people. And we have to keep that in mind every day because it is the foundation along with Christ is all and is in all. These two principles are the foundation for how we live our lives. Then Paul opens up the blizzard machine and just fires it all at us at once. And not even all of it. You have to search the scriptures to find all of it. Clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, patience. Bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, in case you forgot or didn't catch it, forgive as the Lord forgave you. It's the only one on this whole list that's repeated twice. We'll probably have to come back to that at some point in our series. And over all these things, put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. As I was reflecting on this passage, it made me think of a passage in Second Peter, where Peter, the Apostle Peter, he fires off his own list, but he starts off by saying this: make every effort to add to your faith. You claim to believe in Jesus, that's good. Now you need to add to that. And his list sounds like this: goodness, add to your faith goodness, and to goodness knowledge, and to knowledge self-control, and to self-control perseverance, and to perseverance godliness, and to godliness mutual affection, and to mutual affection love. It's interesting, a long list of what we're adding to our faith, and they end in love, just as our passage ends in love. So I reflected on this quite a bit, and I'm going to show you how I've structured it in my mind. This is not the final authoritative way to structure it. It's how I'm seeing the text. So it looks like this. You have a group of 5 things: compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, patience. Those in among themselves, they can be a challenge to live out. But as you live these things out, what you're going to find, we're going to come back, Lord willing, on Friday and look at what do these five things mean individually. But as you're trying to live out these five things, particularly in the family of God, again, we ought to be getting together with our fellow believers on a regular basis. What you're going to find is, oh, church isn't a perfect place. It's not full of perfect people. It's full of all kinds of people. Some of them I like, some of them I don't like, some of them irritate me, some of them hurt me, some of them make me mad. Yes, that all takes place in this wonderful thing that's called the church. You're out there, you're trying to live these things out: compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Now the rubs come in. Now we have to step it up again. We have to bear with each other. And we're gonna take a session and look at what do these two things mean. And beyond bearing with each other, we have to forgive one another. Yes, things will happen in the context of church and relationships, even in the church, where we have to forgive one another. I hope you notice how my arrows and my heart are getting increasingly dark as we move down this list. The only way we're ever going to do these things is when we truly start to learn what does it mean to love one another. Love one another will be found in these 7 areas and more, but in these 7 areas. But now even tougher, because the demands of being loving are even more than forgiving and bearing with each other. But the end result of all this is that its hopeful end is that we can produce unity, unity in the church. It's a wonderful thing when you experience a body of believers that generally get along, but are unified in with one another in relationship, in understanding what is their calling, what is their purpose, where you are built up when you get together. Jesus said, by this all men will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. That is an expression of unity. Unity might be the hardest of all of them to attain, which is why I made it the biggest letters on that chart. But it's possible. It's possible when we live out love. Love is possible when we forgive one another and bear with one another. We have to forgive one another and bear one another, because in the process of being compassionate, being kind, being full of humility, being gentle towards one another, and being patient with one another, things are going to happen that are going to test that relationship. So again, now you're into bearing with one another, forgiving one another. In order to do that, we have to love one another, not like one another, love one another. And then when we do all that, we attain unity in the faith with one another and in the Lord. And that's a wonderful, blessed place to be. That is how I see this passage playing out. So, Lord willing, on Friday, we hope to come back and look at what is compassion, what is kindness, what is humility, what is gentleness, what is patience, and how are they different from one another, and how do they relate to one another. But I think I'll stop there today. Short of 10 minutes, a rare time. But I hope you have a blessed day, and Lord willing, I look forward to seeing you all on Friday.